Damn, Ingenious made the beat.
Yo, welcome to another episode of the Coach Life Podcast Radio. I am, of course, your host, the casual one, your prince of positivity, Coach Steve. Join with me, as always, the professor, the dime dropper himself, Coach Ryan, our CEO, founder, and owner of the Coach Life brand, joining us again on the podcast. Coach Lloyd, how are we doing, boss?
We doing good. We doing great. We got another great one.
As always, because you know what we like to do, sir. We like to level up every single episode. And this is just like any other episode, but a touch above, as Coach Ryan would say. Joining us again, Coach Luna. How we doing, brother?
Bless, man. Bless. Great. I'm ready to have this podcast. Been looking forward to this one. A lot of insight
This
gonna be given tonight.
absolutely. And we have to thank you, sir, for blessing us with our very special guest. Very special guest. A former defensive end who left his mark permanently on the field. A true story of testament of power of perseverance and passion. Hailing from the University of Utah, where he honed on his skills there, went to the Miami Dolphins in 2012, a force to be reckoned with both on and off the field. Blessing the Coach Life Podcast Radio, Coach Derrick Shelby. How are we doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Living the life, sir. Another positive day to talk about another positive topic.
Oh, I'm excited, man.
So first and foremost, thank you for joining the pod. Definitely a blessing to have you here. People know, obviously, if they've looked you up at all, you played in the NFL, you played with the Miami Dolphins, we played with the Atlanta Falcons. So we're going to get a lot of good insight from you from a whole nother level that none of us have been able to touch. And you've got a different perspective that a lot of us are very interested to hear, sir. So I'm very excited to share this topic with this group. Coach Lloyd, could you let everybody know out there what our topic is for today? That's very near and dear to my heart.
Man, this is what we always say, trust in the process. Unveiling the power within.
Man, trusting the process. Why is that such a powerful topic? Coach Luna, why is trusting the process for you? When you hear trusting the process, what resonates with you?
It goes back to what Coach Washington talked last week with the difference of like knowing and thinking or hoping that something would happen. When you trust the process, it's like you know where you're supposed to be, you know the steps that you're supposed to take, how you're supposed to do it, and you basically have a lot more faith in yourself than the circumstances around you may look from an outside perspective like, yeah, I don't think this person could be able to do that. Or, you know what I'm saying? The odds are stacked against them. And then for whatever reason, you keep on prevailing.
Right.
Because the process, you stay true to the process.
100%. 100%. This is a great episode, I think, for Coach Shelby to share his insight on trusting the process and keeping focus of the goal. So, Coach Shelby, can you tell the fans out there, what does trusting the process mean to you?
I don't want to try and simplify as a complex statement, but I mean, complex topic. So trusting the process, I would just summarize it as just having the ultimate confidence in yourself. So often we get caught up in microwave results, but in the long run, anything worth having, it takes a little bit more time. It's more like pot roast cooking. You just, I don't want to say set it and forget it, but it's not going to be ready in 10 minutes.
A lot of extra work that happens with that. That home cooked meal tastes a whole lot better than hitting the microwave.
I love it.
If I'm not crazy, I could have sworn Coach Wise touched on that.
Man.
Literally the last one.
Full circle.
It's like a circle. It's like we wrote it. It's
The
almost like we wrote
microwave.
it.
What I say, the microwave never beats the oven.
Never.
Never, never. So let's talk about the long route. The long route for a lot of us, in a lot of places, we see the amount of work that's required for the long route. Again, just like that home cooked meal, we got to put a lot of effort into making that home cooked meal. You got to prep everything, right? You got to get everything ready. You got to, you got to do a lot of prep work before you can actually start cooking. Coach Shelby, take us to University of Utah. We have the opportunity now to step in the big leagues and start playing for the NFL.
So going to the University of Utah, when I first got there, I was just so overwhelmed with the size of everybody. But you soon find out. I mean, size is great and everything, but at the base of everything, it was technique. So I would say early on my technique was on point, but my size was definitely not on point. So that first year was a bunch of eating, a bunch of lifting. But I think as soon as I had like the eligibility to play, I was playing like quite a bit. Maybe the first 2 or 3 games was kind of sketchy because, they got their trusted guys. But after that, I was always a guy playing. I was probably started most of those games. But, I mean, getting to the NFL was kind of unfortunate. I mean, everyone expects to be drafted. I wasn't. I was one of those people. Sat there and watched all 250 whatever picks. And then post-draft, you just sit back, evaluate. You check out people's rosters, and then you see where you think you'd be the best fit. And for me, that was Miami.
So let's kind of dabble into this, and I'm pretty sure you probably told the story a billion times.
Mm-hmm.
But let's definitely kind of touch on this because again, it says something about your character and your perseverance to go through and sit and watch the draft. And again, we all know it's a pretty long process, especially when you are in the draft. Like, right, you are one of the people that can potentially be drafted, and not getting that would have deflated a lot of people's everything. What was it about you trusting the process that kind of helped you push through that moment?
Obviously, with the draft, I mean, you get to the point where you're watching it, and you're like, man, this guy, you're just sitting there doing that a bunch of times. You say this guy a bunch. But I mean, obviously, I was confident in myself. And the main thing with that part is like, do you want to play football? Because obviously, the pros are the pros. So obviously, you basically about to go out there and do an all-star game every practice. So it's that motivation was there. The motivation was there to play. Then I had to look at the rosters. That was just everything takes a step-by-step process. You can't just make a huge decision like this because obviously you know how cutthroat and the scrutiny is. So you have to prove yourself in front of guys that's already been there, plus the guys who drafted, and then plus whoever else they might have signed. Like you show up there as like probably like 15 people in your position group, and then by the end of it, it's 8 of y'all, and 2 of you are like on practice squad. So it's really you got to be honest in your evaluations about yourself before you can trust your process, and then like just humble yourself before people you see doing something better than you. Like that was the main thing that kept me going, I want to say.
I had a question. You said something that kind of caught my attention. You said that you treated every practice like it was an all-star game. What do you mean?
I mean, with the level of athlete that's out there, everyone's pretty. The speed is probably the first thing that just blows you out the water too, though. So when I went out there, it was a guy I remember specifically. His name was Will Yeatman. This guy, huge guy. He's like 6'5", 6'6". And this guy literally ran like a deer and had like 6-pack abs. And he was a tackle. And I was like, bro, this is wild out here. So it's just like you just know you had to be on your stuff because you get put on your back out there pretty quick.
There's a couple things that you said and leading up to, you getting drafted is that you said you had to be humble. You had to humble yourself. And I think that requires you to embrace a level of patience that a lot of people can't have, especially or don't have, I should say, when they want something that bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you also made a comment about focusing on the effort, the amount of effort that you had to put in to,
Mhm.
to get to that point.
Yep.
Obviously, there's varying different levels. When you got on the team and you started to see all the different talent level that's out there, what was something that you saw that kind of made you feel like, I'm supposed to be here because the mindset that's different.
So the main thing, the position coach, and I thank Miami, I thank Casey for this, Casey Rogers for this. He let it be known like this is a production league. If I have you out there in practice for 30 plays and I look at your production at the end of the practice and you didn't make any plays, what the hell am I putting you out there for, son? That's literally what we would tell you.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, I mean, that makes sense. And then also what helped me there, Miami had a very talented D-line. So it's easy to see if you was keeping up with the pack or you just getting left behind. So shout out to all those guys, Cam Wake, Olivier Vernon, Randy Starks, Jared Odricks, Tony McDaniel too. That's my guy. But those guys were some really they were really talented. So you had to be on your stuff for. I mean, everyone know what it is. Like
Right.
you know if you're not getting close to the ball, you know if you stuck on blocks, that's not a productive day.
Again, just kind of understanding your weaknesses, understanding and being honest with yourself. And I think that it comes with really truly trusting the process. Like you have to understand where your real weaknesses are, where your real failures are. I want to take it to some of the setbacks, and I know obviously you encounter one setback, and having others because you got other people playing out in front of you, right? That have more senior, more tenure than you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what did you learn from those individuals that helped you continue to progress in your career?
It would go back to just being humble. You get like once you get in the league, you understand like there are guys that are just they do this one thing great and they get paid a lot of money for it. So Cam Wake is the easy one. That guy hit the quarterback 20 times in the game. So if there's a move that you see that if you have I don't want to say we have the same level of athleticism, but if you see a part of his game that you can incorporate in yours, like why not ask the guy? He's not worried about you. This guy making 15, 20 million, like he's making 15 million. He doesn't care if he teaches you a coaching point or something. And it's like little stuff like that. Wake, he was hard to like replicate. That guy just did stuff you can't really do. But guys like Randy, though, Randy Starks, a lot of people don't know about this guy. He played, I want to say 12 years or so, made a few Pro Bowls, but that guy, I took so much stuff from Randy, it was crazy. Because Randy was just, he was really good at not letting people get their hands on him. And he was really good about the snappy second move. So I tried to steal that from him. And he would always try and play dumb, but he was very knowledgeable. He would see like changes and splits and stuff like that. So just being the student of the game around guys that have been around it, you kind of pick up on stuff. And then it's a part of you, and then you just be playing better.
I gotta mention it. The gatekeeping. The gatekeeping. I gotta talk about it really quick because it happens in like every industry where you always have that person that just doesn't want you to succeed because you're gonna take something away from me. Now, obviously, playing in the NFL is a little bit different because technically, if you are doing it better, you're gonna take that away from them. Their starting spot is only one starting spot, right?
No.
So cultivating that kind of a mindset. I mean, did you find players or teammates like that where they kind of shied away from, kind of giving you the skinny on certain things or some that were just like, super open about it?
I mean, I don't want to say it's just blatantly stuff like that because we're all trying to get better. But I mean,
Right.
if you're in a coaches meeting and you hear the guys saying the same thing, like everybody kind of know what the deal is with like you got to fix it or they just go stop telling you to correct it because they found somebody else that can do it.
Mm-hmm.
The gatekeeping, not so much. I think that comes down to like people skills. I would say I'm halfway decent at like kind of diffusing people. Like I could kind of get a read of people. I make jokes to break ice, so it's like little stuff like that. But gatekeeping is a part of human society. I mean, as they say, shit rolls downhill, and no one wants to be on the lower part of that hill. Everybody wants to be a little bit higher so they get a little less shit put on them.
Right. Just give me a little as it rolls down, right?
Yeah, I just don't want as much shit as I used to get.
You know what? I want to take this to Coach Luna, because I know you just transitioned, coaching elementary school from high school, middle school. I'm sorry, to middle school right now, which again is a very big transition, because you got a very different mindset of a middle schooler than you have from a high schooler, from a collegiate athlete. Trusting the process is a very, very, very key aspect of getting kids to kind of understand, what the next step is and the next level. So how have you transitioned to kind of get kids to understand trusting the process?
It's funny that you asked that. I literally was just having this conversation in the coach's office, and I literally compared how we have to coach at the middle school level to how detailed those very good college coaches were. And everybody here can know, like, those. It didn't even necessarily have to be college. It could be just a high school, whatever. But those coaches that literally would talk about just your toe placement, your eyes, your ways of going ahead and get your shoulder pad lower instead of lowering your shoulder pads, lower the top of your forehead, and just completely, like, just little things that you have to say that kids can just understand at their level. And when you make things so simple at the level of middle school, and middle schoolers can understand it, it makes coaching older guys that have ability just that much easier. That's one thing that I attest to my master's program when I had to do my coaching stuff, is we had to constantly work with different types of age groups of kids, whether it was highly autistic or whatever it was, or kids that had certain physical disabilities, and we had to teach them certain things. And we had to deal with elementary kids. Like, it was literal coaching. Take the football part out of it, take the sport out of it. Just how do you teach a kid a certain motor skill or whatever it is that they're trying to learn? How do you make it relate to a kid that's suffering these disabilities? And when you go ahead and you can do that on the field with the sport that that you actually love, and you have that ability to make it relatable, man, it's like I told you, I mean, to me, coaching is coaching. You know what I'm saying? You just, some coaches take that route to go ahead and get to the league and college and do all those things. And, but quality coaching is quality coaching. If you're going to coach the details, it doesn't matter what level it is. You just, in middle school, you have to, or those kids are not going to do, or are not going to perform what you're trying to get them to perform.
Right. It's almost like it's like you're planting those little seeds for them to start changing their mindset once they start getting into the bigger and better, right? As they get to that new level, they kind of already can, think back in the memory banks. Oh, Coach Luna told me this, or that one key thing that kind of helped me, remember to do X, Y, and Z, right?
Yeah.
Coach Lloyd, take us to the office. Take us to the office, sir. Keeping and cultivating a positive mindset and getting people to understand and trust the process from an office standpoint. You are and been in numerous managerial positions, numerous mentorship positions. How have you been able to get people to trust the process when you've seen the outcomes and you can kind of help direct them, but they can't see past the fog?
Well, I kind of compare. I don't want to call people dogs, but what they say, your dog gonna be a reflection of you. Same thing in the office. So poise, calm, cool, collected, regardless of the situation. That's key, number one. And they'll follow from that. I'm like, well, if the leader is relaxed, it's no different from you being a child and looking at a parent. Well, dad, cool. It must be all good. So that's number one. From there, be organized and be structured. And when they see you calm, cool, collecting, you organize and structure, I'm like, okay, he got a plan. I'm gonna follow this guy. and build rapport. You got a good relationship with your team. You know, whether it's we talking about the office, but even on the field. Luna talked about this. We all talked about it though. Having a good relationship with your players, knowing that you're there for them, you will actually want to see them succeed. You want to see them progress. They're gonna follow you all day. People don't quit jobs; they quit bosses.
True enough.
And these are
True enough.
facts. I didn't quit a boss, a couple of them. So just be the guy that somebody can follow. That's the best way I could put that in summary. And make sure you're on top of everything. But don't be fake neither at the same time. I have had times where I actually had a mentor tell me, show a little bit of vulnerability. Like you don't have to seem under control all the time. So that people still need to understand that you're human. And that's actually going to help the people below you progress even more. They're going to be like, oh, he goes through this too. He's not like a special case. So if you seem like you special, somebody going to just feel like that's just him. That's unattainable. But if they see you go through rough times and it's like, yeah, I'm kind of struggling, be cool, calm, and collected at the same time. But, you know, do share that, you know, I sat up all night with this before I even came to you. You know, I've been trying to brainstorm and figure things out. I actually want to hear some ideas from you guys. Like a little bit of vulnerability and you know, just honesty goes a long way too. But be relatable at the end of the day. Because we all the same. We just at different levels.
Man. Bro. Again, it's like we wrote it. One of the things that I try to do from an office standpoint and then from just a mentor standpoint, like you said, is first it starts with self, right? You said it's a reflection, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Coach Luna said this in our last pod that we did. You try to get kids or just people in general to see the reflection that you see of them, right? Like I see a different picture of you than you probably don't see of yourself, right? So getting them to see that side of themselves is super important. But in order for them to see that, they gotta have to be able to, in a way, almost mimic that good behavior, that good positive behavior that you hopefully you're kind of instilling in them. So, you know, practicing that mindfulness, you know, staying present, being in the moment when you're having those conversations with them, being calm, cool, and collected, showing them that, you know, again, like you also said, it's showing them that vulnerability. And I kind of want to take this back to Coach Shelby on this one, where when we talk about, you know, showing that vulnerability and pouring back into the younger guys, right? Coach Shelby, did you ever have those moments or have an opportunity to pour back into the younger guy that's just coming into the league and, you know, trying to make that adjustment and trying to help them understand, you know, push through the process and how to trust the process to get them to where they need to be?
Oh, of course. I mean, because guys did it for me, but I mean, a lot of that comes to. I hate to always speak in sayings, but they always make sense. But you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
100%.
Some guys are hungry to figure out because that transition from like just having class into just the level of scrutiny that you go to, like in college, you kind of get away to a lot of things of ability, but in the pros, it's all technique, man. It's technique, and then God given abilities take over. But always try to pass on knowledge because it obviously helped me. But I mean, like not everyone listened, but those who did, I mean, you'll see their careers take off as well. Everybody's success in the league is a little different. For the most part, if you're a real professional, you can make anything happen. You just it is that process because the grind of a 20-game season minimum is pretty crazy. So that first couple of years, there is some you do hit the wall, as they say, because you're not quite used to going from July to December and through like New Year's or whatever with football. So it is a process.
It's pretty awesome that you got a chance, like I said, to pour back into those guys from a actual technique, from an actual position standpoint. Have you had the opportunity to do that for them off the field to kind of help them adjust to the transition of, you know, the big leagues?
I would say off the field is just more the transition of trying to get the guys like just comfortable admitting that they're uncomfortable after sports. that would be the only thing I would do because for the most part, in the endeavors that I'm looking into, I'm still a student myself. But I have given people like a little bit of direction in a post-career transition. It's a lot of you go from basically having a militarized, everything is timed out schedule to you have a lot of free time during the day, not just during the off season, and it's literally all day. So it is quite world rocking to be in that scenario. So you just got to try and tell people I've went through it too. You just got to find things to kind of make it a little bit easier until you find your way. So that took a little bit of experimentation. So that part is all like it's personal, but just admitting like the toughest guys that you've gone through this trouble too. Like it just puts them at ease some too, and it gives them a little bit more confidence going into it.
And just like Coach Luna said, you got to make it relatable. Those small little nuggets, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So the role of a mentor when it comes to trusting the process, what do you think we kind of touched on it. Coach Luna kind of definitely, framed this up for us. So Coach Lloyd, build the rest of this house for us right now with the framework Coach Luna already kind of put together for us on what essentially is needed for a mentor to help someone push through and trust the process.
I would say repetition of the foundation, repeating the process that you started from the bottom, and then build on top of that. So certain things will become second nature. Let's take it back to the field. The little things he's talking about. I love the fact that you mentioned like getting rid of the football. Like people don't understand like how basic things really get when you're trying to coach somebody to be great at something. Like you have to. People don't understand the little details that it takes. Just talking about like I saw Deion Sanders, talking about dropping your chin, your shoulders gonna drop. And we talk about dropping pad level, like little things like that, things you wouldn't even think about, rather than just saying drop your pad level. What does that mean? How can that happen? Why I know this receiver gonna come off the line slow? Because his back foot is too far back. So his first step is to bring the back foot forward before he even take his first step forward beyond the line. I'm rushing you. Yeah,
right.
I'm rushing you,
right.
Easy jam, like little things like that. So, coaching these little things to the point where you don't even think about it anymore and just teaching right. Okay, we're past that. I think about, even back to Coach Shelby, it's baffling to me that, it's not baffling, but I can see how he can kind of get caught up in the draft. But when I think about it, because I haven't been there, I think about like, dog, you there's 300 million people in the US. There's millions of kids playing football, and this number continues to get lower.
Right.
And by the time you get to the draft, it's like, damn, like we're talking about thousands of people. Like you've made it past millions. And let's make the number even smaller, dog. Even if you get drafted or invited to try to make a team, what's it about? 1,700 players in the NFL at the time, I believe, somewhere around there.
Yeah, 53 active, 32 teams.
Yeah, 32 teams. Yeah, you close to 1,700 players in the league. You make that,
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and you make it to that point onto that team, like, but you still concerned about making it to the next level. And you now, even you at the elite athletic ability that you're at, are looking at other people, and there's still another level.
Right. The beauty of it.
That's the beauty, like the building blocks, like what Coach Luna, like we talking about the Sears Tower or Willis Tower, whatever they changed the name.
It's the Sears Tower, bro.
It's always going. We from Chicago, so we always gonna call it the Sears Tower. That's what it's gonna be to us. But one of the tallest buildings in the world, like that's how many levels we talking about right now. We talking about from pointing our toe forward to not false stepping to you get to a point where them things are not even thoughts anymore.
Right.
You just
habits.
You just doing it. And then to get to the level of the NFL and you still picking up notes. from your peers?
You heard what he said.
You mean to tell me it's technique? We still building on the tower. We still building on the tower. A fast man said I was shocked by the speed.
That is.
You amongst these people. You're one of them, and you're like, this shit fast.
No, for sure.
That's great, right?
It really is. And that first one, you see a wide zone, you're like, yo, this guy's sprinting. Is this play action?
Coach, you gotta understand, like the level, like the awe. I think that's the word you're looking for, Coach Lloyd. The awe.
Yeah.
The awe is what we're looking for. Is that you got to another level and there's still more. Like, there's still more. There's so much more that can be learned and be cultivated. And I'm so glad that you kind of, circle back to this. Because I just had a conversation with one of my coworkers, and the comment that was made was walking, like always being on. Like, why do you feel like you have? Sometimes I feel like you're like always on, like you always on. Like, there's never a time you shut off. But here's the thing, though, guys. When you get to that level, it's natural. I don't have to always be on. On is just living now. It's not a level anymore. It's just what I do.
Standard's the standard, huh, Shelby?
I believe so. I think it's different for guys though, because I think inherently we always like trying to find a way to improve. Like even if you've been out the gym for a little bit, like you'll see everybody see New Year's, it's a line to get some machines and stuff like that. So like guys naturally have like a precursor to try and improve because we're always being judged on something else. So I mean, we always have to look at ways to better ourselves, or you just feel like you're getting passed up.
Iron sharp as iron, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, from my last pre-conversation, I went to the gym. So thanks, Coach Shelby.
I bet these pages whooping me right now.
Hey, that trust in the process. I'm gonna take this back just to life in general and how much the game actually teaches us in life. But like that reset button, it's funny because talking about the basics and the foundation that with the question you just asked me and kind of piggybacking on Luna, but sometimes we do have to reset. Sometimes even far into the game and far in, we done went up multiple levels. Sometimes we have to revisit level one, and it's okay. It's okay. I'll tell you, I went back into the sales world since I left coaching, and I had been away from it so long, but like once I like got my feet back into the game, I had to restart from the basics before I started doing, different things. I kind of pick up, how to use my own personality and implant that into the basics. But yeah, you have to hit the reset button sometimes. Like Coach Shelby is hitting the reset button at this point, because what is life after football, right? That's where you're at right now.
Yep. And it is unforgiving.
Unforgiving.
But you know what?
The button is real, man. I mean, like since y'all been on this podcast, man, like even from then to now, I still like, man, I feel like I'm still growing mentally. You know what I'm saying? And I was telling Bree yesterday, I'm like, man, it's 6 o'clock and I'm home and I can go run a mile if I want to. I said, man, I'm not even coming off the field yet if this was the past 6 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like you said with the reset, the saying, I think it's life doesn't give you a reset button, or there's no reset button on life. There isn't, as far as when it comes to the concept of time. But what you can do to your brain and what you can do to yourself mentally, spiritually, and physically, you can somewhat reset.
Yeah.
Because all it is realigning your focuses. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily a complete reset where the game completely shuts off and there's no memory card, like everything goes from zero. when we reset mentally, physically, and spiritually, we're not resetting back at zero. We're back at the basis of the foundation of, like when you said, when we're starting that building, and now we got to start building from that initial foundation that we once already had. One point we already had, but now we just got to get back into the habit of, you know, being a creature of habit. You know what I'm saying? Like making it me again. Like I have to do that before I can get the rest of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
making it part of you again.
100%.
Sure.
You touched on something again. You keep on talking about this reset button, and I'm gonna take it back to the days of Nintendo. You said something, and the reason why I had to take it back to Nintendo. Yeah, you're right. Blowing the cartridge, right?
No memory card.
You said no memory card and was laughing about we are dating ourselves in this one, but
that's right.
But again, we all remember the days of having to, you know, you're playing Mario Brothers.
You're gonna leave that on.
Exactly. Either you leave it on or you're gonna have to turn it off. You got two options. That's it. But the thing is if you ever had to hit the reset button or you ever had to turn the game off, and when you turn it back on, you didn't start over. You started over with new knowledge, right? You started over with new knowledge to get to the next level faster, quicker, more efficiently, more effectively. Because everything that you learned again from the first level, you can apply to every level.
Yep.
Again, just building on the foundation. And I don't think people put enough stock in building on those foundational pieces. And that's what separates us from the elite, right? When I say the elite, I'm talking about Coach Shelby. We all wanted to play, we all play football. You are elite, sir. You are in the elite category.
I'll add on to that. So like the more you I know you guys it was a few points back, but you talked about like doing the reps. So the reference, another reference, you don't fear the guy that knows 10,000 kicks. You fear the guy that practice one kick 10,000 times. So the repetition, like you just get more efficient and better. So as time goes on, like you may have taken like twice as long to do it in the past. Now you're so good at it now, you've added other steps where you can improve, and now your work is just getting that much better and better. So I just want to throw that in before I forgot it.
No, that's great point. Great point.
Yeah.
So there's one other piece of this that I want to make sure that we kind of touch on, because we're talking about you know, what mentors can do, what the person can do. Again, lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? We talked about what that person needs to do. We talked about what we can do, what the actual meaning and understanding of trust the process actually means. Now, how do we strengthen trust in the process? Like, how do you continue to strengthen that day in and day out? One big thing that I do for myself is I try to physically track it. One thing I know we talked about this in our previous pod is physically tracking the information, right?
Yes,
physically tracking the progress, tracking the setbacks, tracking the reflection on the time in which it took me to grow, right? Keeping a journal for yourself. The other big thing, and Coach Luna, you just said this a few minutes ago. You said, since we've been doing this pod, like, you've had time to do the pod. At one point in time, you wouldn't have had time to do the pod. But this also provides you another opportunity to pour back into yourself and also to help sharpen other people in the same process. What I think is super cool about that, and I say this all the time, especially to all my coworkers. So for the ones that are listening right now, you know who I'm talking to. I've said this numerous times. Pour back into yourself. It's super important to pour back into yourself. Just like Coach Shelby is doing right now, going to grad school right now. Man, I commend you wholeheartedly, bro. Like,
reset.
That's a reset button, bro. Like,
NFL vet is in school.
Right.
Pay attention. He's getting his master's. Pay attention.
That's not an easy task.
Some guys did it while playing, so shout out to those guys.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. The fact is that it's getting done. That's the thing. A lot of people just can't get to that point to even just put in the effort to, you know, take an online class, yet alone going to go get their actual master's degree.
For sure. Yeah, that was It's been an adventure so far.
There you go, man. We rooting for you all day. Because I'm done with this. I'm done with school, but I'm never done with learning.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't want to be in debt no more.
Mm.
Another thing that I want to kind of circle back with, because Coach Shelby said this earlier on, is practicing self-compassion. Like actually, taking a look at yourself, looking at the issues and the concerns and the areas where you can improve on, and pushing a little bit harder in those particular areas. And then also visualizing the success. Like, yes, it's good to look every once in a while. Yes, it's good to let's go back to a couple pods ago. Coach Luna said this. It's good to be where your feet are. It is 100% good to be where your feet are, but it is good every once in a while to take a look down and take a look at where you are, because it'll also give you the opportunity to look back and see where you came from. Mm-hmm. So you can see the progression, and that progression should help you build on those small wins. Kind of sound like the other pod that we just ran, right? Mm-hmm. Like a circle.
The circle.
Closing remarks. Coach Shelby, close us out, sir. Trusting the process. If we are talking to someone that's down in the dumps right now, that person that needs a little bit more inspiration, that person that probably gave up on themselves numerous times, what would you say to that person to get them to continue to trust the process, that it will eventually get better?
If you quit now, you'll for sure never get there. But if you keep going, you may eventually get there. But I know it may be cliche. Quitting never gets anything done. So quitting just leaves you where you're at. So it may be hard. Motivations may be low. But if you push forward, you'll at least be ahead of where you started.
Coach Luna, what are we saying to that individual to get them to push forward, sir?
Focus on the little things. Get 1% better every day. If you try to go ahead and conquer the world by tomorrow, you're just going to go ahead and the weight of the world will consume you. You're not going to overcome it. Just do one little thing towards it every single day, no matter what the goal is. Goals don't have to be lofty. Goals can be, you can have a 1 month, a 2 month, a 3 month, a 4 month. But if you never start anywhere, where can you rate your progress? Where can you grade yourself of saying, all right, I'm taking steps? You know how everything that you just said right before you asked Coach Shelby that question. At some point, I have to see if I've made progress. Because if I continue to stay in the same spot, what ends up happening? I now sink. And now as I'm sinking, it becomes mud. And as it becomes mud, it now hardens. And as it hardens, it's harder for me to get out of here because now I'm comfortable in my position. I got to move at some point.
Sounds like quicksand.
Bingo.
Coach Lloyd, what do we say to that youngin?
Reset as many times as you need to. But pretty much summing up what everybody said already, Coach Shelby and Coach Luna, don't stop. Focus on the little things and reset as many times as you need to. Like the Nintendo, you're only going to progress faster each time. So it's okay. It's fine. It's fine, but you can't let anything get you down at any point in time because you'll drown in that. And that's harder to deal with than resetting.
100%, man.
A reset is always going to be faster than allowing yourself to drown.
100%, bro. I'll leave everyone with this. It is okay to hit that reset button. It is okay because we've all had to do it in some way, shape, or form. Cool part again, like we said, you get a chance to look at the progression. You get to see your progression. You get to also, which I think is probably the biggest thing, is that you're able to pick up little tricks upon the way. And hopefully you're able to pass those little tricks and little tidbits on to somebody else to help them not struggle as much and get them to continue to understand that trusting the process is just part of the process. You got to trust it. You got to be in it. It's just like my grandmother says when it comes to the lottery, you ain't going to win it if you ain't in it. So you got to trust the process some kind of way. So that way you can see some benefit from it. As always, this was an amazing pod. At the end of the day, trust the process. That's what we're here for. Again, I want to give a quick shout out to Coach Shelby for taking some time to chop it up with us today on this pod. Again, I definitely appreciate the time. I know you have your hands full, sir, with this class load that you got right now. So definitely appreciate you taking time out, sir.
It was great to take a break from the reading. So thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As always a pleasure, Coach Luna, being on the pod.
Appreciate it. Much appreciated. Love getting on here anytime we can.
And gonna make the official announcement. Coach Luna is now an official host
Absolutely.
of the pod.
Absolutely. I was gonna save that, bro, for the next pod. But okay, so you want to let everybody know, get the cat out the bag.
I'm too
right
excited.
now.
I'm too excited. Come on.
Cat's out the bag, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think again, this is going to be a great one. I definitely appreciate everybody jumping on this pod. Again, we still have not had someone throw a comment in. At this point, I'll probably just take a hello, get 10% off. But no.
I mean, if people want to pay full price, that's perfectly fine.
That's perfectly fine. But you know what? Because I'm such a giving person.
What you gonna do?
Look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go deep in the bag. I gotta go deeper in the bag right now. 50% off at the store. Half off. Come on now. Half off. Half off. We giving away. It's like we're giving away stuff.
Free 99.
No, bro. We're not free 99. It's the expense. First off, we giving it all half off. We already got to give Coach Shelby some gear right now.
Mm-hmm.
And based on what he was when he left football, I don't know if you still at the same weight, bro. I know the same height. Obviously, I ain't shrink.
Coach length goes up to 4X's. We good.
I believe.
We'll just make sure we got some merch for you. So again, 50% off at the Coach Life Podcast store. Hit that like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on IG. Follow us on YouTube. Coach Shelby, is there any handles you want to throw out there, sir?
No, I'm good. I like to live in obscurity.
It's like, don't find me. If you want to find me, find me on Wikipedia.
I drink Hefeweizen.
He said, I'm Ghost.
It's like I'm busy with school right now. That's all right.
Yeah. I'm in a bat cave.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we can have you back on again before school gets too hectic. And take up another good hour of your time, sir.
All righty.
Again, family, if you like what you heard, please like and subscribe. Until the next one, stay positive, my friends.